stay that way. Cool. Alrighty, guys. Well, thanks for joining me. It's a great day for a coffee break. The blustery wind and all that. So I got my tea. So feel free to grab something else for you to drink and we can get started with our chat. Again, thank you for joining me. So today I am talking about creating normal in chaos. So during this pandemic and all of this virus stuff, things are pretty up in the air and chaotic. Our whole life has been flipped upside down, and being humans, we are creatures of habit, right? Like we do the same thing every day or the same routine every week, and we like that. We like having that routine and that structure. And hold on just a second. When we don't have our routine and our structure, we tend to kind of lose focus, lose what I'm trying to find a good word for it. We lose just our direction. It's kind of like when you have a bad day, you start off on the wrong foot and then everything kind of cascades afterward. It's pretty much the same thing. So when we are starting on the wrong foot, nothing seems to go right. And now that our lives are turned upside down, everything seems to be upside down. So one of my goals, while I know that we're dealing with the pandemic, one of my goals for this talk was for you to be able to take this information and apply it to any time in your life where things feel upside down, where you're able to use this anytime, even on those bad days when you get up on the wrong side of the bed. Just be able to use these things when you are not standing on your own 2 feet that day. Okay? So let's talk about our need for structure and predictability. It starts off when we're in the womb. As just being in our mother's womb, we tend to get used to that rhythm of the movement while mom is moving. We get used to hearing her heartbeat, that consistent rhythm, and we adapt that rhythm into ourselves. And as we grow up and we have this understanding of how the world works, it becomes predictable, and it feels safe. That safety net of that constant rhythm of life, that constant feeling of predictability is safe and it feels good. So that's why we do things in the same way we do them all the time. When I get up in the morning, I will brush my teeth, and then I will drink some water, then I will do this and this. I do the same thing every day in order to keep that predictability, even the smallest things. Now some people tend to be like spontaneous, right? They like to have lots of stuff going on all the time, and they like to do things. And in a way, that is predictable as well. That is some structure as well, because this is a pattern that you like to do, and therefore you kind of have an expectation of what's going to happen with that. So you create that predictability even when you like spontaneity. So when we are looking at, my apologies guys, my notes took off on me. So it's really important for us to have that structure because it feels safe. It gives us that calming. And so then when events like this happen, or when we are flipped upside down and things are not the way that we are used to doing them, we tend to lose which direction we're supposed to go. It's like we knew what that was on the map, and then we looked at the map again and had no idea where we were. So when it comes to these crises, I've worked with a lot of people recently who have completely stopped taking care of themselves, who are really struggling with just getting out of bed in the morning because they don't have any direction. There's no purpose. There's no guidelines now because our normal plan is gone. So when it comes to this kind of situation, we want to take some baby steps and start figuring out what we can do to get some routine and predictability back in our life. All right. That tea is really good. So let's talk about getting back into routine of your everyday life. We're looking at like baby steps. So a lot of people got really flipped upside down and are not, they're just not functioning the way they were, like getting out of bed. So we start with small steps, like maybe you work on taking a shower one time in a week. Sometimes people just completely stop taking care of themselves. Start there. Start something small, something doable. Brushing your teeth. Very simple. And then gradually build on that. So maybe this week you brush your teeth twice. Next week brush your teeth 2 times and add maybe one more thing, like taking a shower. And then the next week, and so on and so forth. So having yourself build on these skills or on these different tasks so that you're better able to build back up some of that routine without overwhelming yourself and without feeling like you're a failure for not completing something. Okay? So we want to start small in creating those steps. Also, don't forget the things that you still can do. You know, even though, like right now, we can't go outside of our homes a whole lot, can't do a lot of visiting or activities. Maybe you had coffee with grandma every Saturday, and right now you can't have coffee with grandma on Saturday in person, but you can do something like this, where you sit down at your table, grandma's at her table, you each have your own cup, and you can have a conversation. So try to resume activities that you did before, even if they have to be modified. They don't have to go away. We sometimes have to get creative about how we do them. So that's also something that you can look into, is being able to find the things that you are normally doing in your routine and how can you work them into your new routine. Okay? All right. I also wanted to talk about having grace with yourself, right? Like having the patience to make these slow changes and to work through these things, and having grace with other people. I recently saw, I saw this, I don't know if it's a meme. I think it might be a meme or a GIF. I can't always tell the difference between the two. But this one in particular had said, we're all in the same boat. And then it said their boat, and it was a yacht. And then it said my boat, and it was the little raft from Castaway. So keep in mind that while everybody is going through a similar experience, people are experiencing it very differently. Okay? So even the people in your household, you can be dealing with this situation in one way, and somebody else is dealing with it in a completely different way. And so having grace with each other to be able to let each other evolve at our own paces and support each other without feeling like somebody should be somewhere that they're not. Okay, so making sure you have that patience and the grace with them to create that structure. All right. So if you're just tuning in, thanks again for joining us for Coffee with a Counselor. And we are talking about creating normalcy in chaos. And so far we've talked about taking steps to get back into a normal routine, such as baby steps with hygiene and self-care, all the way up to having patience and grace with yourself to be able to take these baby steps with yourself and other people and not push yourself too hard. Okay? Let's see. So let's also talk about some stress management tactics, some tools that we have. So while you can take these perfect steps to help, perfect, I guess that's the wrong word. Take these little steps to help get yourself back on track and get where you want to be. I also wanted to talk about stress management. So there's a lot of news. There's a lot. This can be very scary for people, or change like this can be very scary for people. They can be very triggering. Can bring up a lot of emotional response. It can bring up a lot of struggles. And it can be really difficult to manage all of that while trying to get your life back in order, of some kind of order. So we want to make sure you're also doing things to help take care of that stress, take care of all of those big emotions, right? One thing I recommend is limiting the amount of news that you take in. So it's good to be informed. It's good to know what's going on. It is not good to be over-informed and to have too much coming in from many different places. So this news place is saying this, news place is saying this is on Facebook, this is here. I mean, it's everywhere. So making sure that you are limiting the intake of the news that you are receiving, or only pick a few places that you want to get your news from, okay? So making sure you acknowledge where you're getting that information. And then I wanted to also mention taking time to go outside. Maybe not today. That wind's pretty gnarly. But taking some time to get some sunshine, or rest. Sleep might be helpful for some. There's always baking. I know a lot of people right now are spending some time baking because they needed something to do. Baking is always a great activity, a great mindful activity you can put all of your attention into. Finding things that you enjoy that help you relax, that help you take a few steps in your day and not worry about all the other stuff that's going on, or not let the stress kind of consume you, right? I also want to talk about this idea of like radical acceptance, about being able to acknowledge where you're at. What's going on for you right now? This situation is not normal. This is not what you normally are doing. And acknowledging that for yourself to be able to move forward and take care of yourself. Sometimes just that acknowledgement, like, this isn't something that I normally would deal with. This isn't something that is always happening. And so what can I do in this moment to be able to get through this moment? Sometimes just that acknowledgement can be a big difference in our mindset to be able to help us to push through and move on to the next thing. I'm going to take a pause, drink some tea. I hope you guys have something good to drink today. All right. Another tactic that I think is really helpful is spending some time the beginning of every day, making a little bit of a plan. What are some things that I can accomplish today that would make me feel like I've done something? What is something that is helpful? So 3 things that I can do today to make me feel accomplished. So that can be as small as you want them to be and as big as you want them to be, but make sure they're realistic. If you think that you're going to be able to clean out your whole garage today and make that one task, is that really realistic for you? Don't set yourself up, okay? Do some small things. I'm gonna load the dishwasher, pick up my kids' toys, and go for a walk. And then I want you to spend time trying to acknowledge what you did at the end of every day. So before you go to bed, after you put your jammies on, or whatever your evening routine is, what did I accomplish today? Now, this isn't a time for you to beat yourself up, right? It's not a time for you to say, oh, I had all this time because I'm home, I should have done X, Y, and Z. That's not helpful. What's helpful is looking at, okay, I did do this, I did do that, and I did do this. You did something during the day. So acknowledging what you did is also helpful. A lot of times when we're in this situation and we're having these responses and not feeling ourselves, we expect us to behave in a certain way or in a different way than we are. So being able to acknowledge the good things that we do and what we have accomplished is really important. Let's see. I think it's really funny that I'm drinking tea and I have a white shirt. I'm a very chronic spiller. I'm not sure if you guys do that too, but if you're just tuning in, thank you for joining us for Coffee with a Counselor. I've given some tips on creating some little changes that you can make in your day, and I've talked about what you can do to manage stress or help you to start getting back on track of some calmer days or some emotion regulation there. Let's see. I'm not sure what, I think that's most of what I want to cover. I think I want you to just, my takeaway is definitely for you to spend some time getting that, acknowledging that this is not normal, or any situation that you get in where life's upside down is not normal, and that you are able to take some time to take baby steps to get yourself back on track. That it's okay to take some space from news, from discussions about difficult topics, to take some space for yourself, to be able to relax. It's okay to not be accomplishing huge, monumentous tasks while we're stuck at home. It's okay to do little things, to acknowledge the small things that you do in the day, and have grace with yourself and with other people. You're on this journey. We're all on this journey together, and we're all trying to get through it on our own. So acknowledging where you're at there. I really appreciate you guys taking a coffee break with us. I hope this was helpful for you. I hope you can join us for another coffee break soon. They're on Wednesdays and Fridays. In the meantime, I hope that you are able to take care of yourself and use any of these tips that might be helpful. And remember, we're here to help. Please note that if you or someone you know is experiencing a behavioral health crisis, crisis counselors are available day and night, 24/7, at our crisis center. They are located at 928 12th Street in Greeley. And the phone number to call is 970-347-2120. And someone will be there to be able to help you out, okay? I really appreciate you guys hanging in there with me, and you have a great weekend, okay? See ya.